That's right. It's another late night and time for another reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag. And tonight we're pulling out. Oh, it's an awful extra Just Giggle It sketch number 68.
Man, those extras are just human props. You can never get them to do what you want, Dragon.
Yeah, darn meat puppets.
Okay, so yeah, Dragon, this is it's a relatively recent one, but I remember when it came out, people were pretty stoked on it. It was pretty memorable. It was kind of in the height of our Poncio love. And suffice to say, I do think this one holds up. I think my only little nitpick that we'll get to is I think the ending to this is a little abrupt, but I mean, other than that, I think it's a pretty it holds on to that traditional Just Giggle It kind of like, every little, it sets up a premise and then every little beat kind of ratchets up that premise. It's got the same sort of beat as, as a Just Giggle It iconic sketch like Pretty Flowers, for example.
Yeah, it's awful extra. It's certainly it's definitely a Poncio showcase to say the least. An abrupt one, mind you, but it's certainly a Poncio showcase. This sketch actually, this was as you can kind of tell, this was an archival pull, as in this is one from a while back. This is like when they did the ESPN Idiots, and they did this, and they did pulls from kind of the big old famous Joshua Thomas Prince vault. And yeah, definitely. I forget if this one dropped while we were in the midst of our Poncio season or not, but it was definitely, we were on a Poncio kick of some variety. So it was definitely a wonderful.
It was either in the midst of the Poncio season, or at the very least, it was just kind of like naturally through the grab bag, us discovering just how good Poncio really was.
Yeah. So, of course, the basis of this one, well, this one actually is so funny, sir. This one's directed not by Joshua Thomas, if you can believe it.
Get out of town.
Yep, somebody else. Is directed by Mark Mahoney.
Heresy.
Yes, it's edited by Joshua Thomas, though, because the man just couldn't resist putting his fingers on, getting his fingerprints on there in some way, shape, or form. No, seriously. So, of course, editing does play a big role into the episode, so to the sketch. So certainly Joshua Thomas has to have his hands involved in this one. They couldn't get any intel on the writer. It's just it's directed by Mark Mahoney and edited by Joshua Thomas. It's of course, this seems very much that it's based on kind of these extra horror stories that you see and hear all the time in Hollywood, when you always have extras that kind of get a little too big for their britches, or kind of get in the way, or they're fresh off the boat, so to speak, and something's just not clicking when you're doing the shooting, and sometimes can lead these nightmare days on the sets. Especially for a director. So of course,
remember that one extra from the Dunkirk teaser trailer?
Yeah, I remember.
Did he end up in the finished movie?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't know about that when it first happened, but when we were getting ready for the commentary, I found out about him. Like the one happy guy on the Dunkirk bridge. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. God.
I assume he made the final cut, but I don't know.
Oh man. Dragon, you know what I just interpreted that? I interpreted that, in terms of the movie, is like he's just gone mad, man. He's just delirious.
Well, I kind of took it as sometimes when in your great sense of stress, even so much fear is like a bit of a smile amidst the fear.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
It's like that. Never mind. I was gonna go for a really, really obscure pull, but it's not warranted.
Reel it back, Dragon. Reel it back.
All right. We'll go fishing some other time. Anyway. So, let's see. Of course, a cell line for this is background artist, extras, human props. Called. Oh god. Called a lot of things, but this guy is awful. Which, of course, knowing Poncio the way we do, we know this is just the opposite. Poncio is simply wonderful, but for the purposes of the sketch, he's awful.
I mean, what if Poncio did legitimately go in for a background? A background part as just an extra, and he couldn't resist but just I know we'll break it down, but I think the first this sketch starts in such a humble place. It starts with him just having two intensive eyes, which is something I could totally see Poncio getting a director's note for, in a good way, where it's like Poncio's just standing around and he's almost too into it,
Yeah.
All right.
Apparently Sipka, he was supposed to be. I don't know who. They said there was a character's name was Marcus, but unfortunately they don't name all the thugs' names. Like we have Poncio was like goon number 2 essentially. And I want to say his opposite, like the other guy, because everyone else is named but this guy. I guess the other guy who walks off to get the girl, his name's Marcus, and that was supposed to be Mark Sipka, but Sipka refused to do it. Why? I have no idea. Maybe it's not enough lines for him. Maybe that's it.
It's possible that he just refuses to play a character named Mark.
Maybe. Maybe. Okay, anywho, so of course I already mentioned the little archival sketch of it all here. Oh yeah, here's some interesting. So we have seen Mark Mahoney's work before. I ran this through JustGiggleIt. They confirmed for me that we had seen Mark Mahoney in. We've seen him in ESPN Idiots. He was the other anchor in ESPN Idiots.
Oh yeah, right.
So we've seen him there, and he directed Monopoly Breakup, which also featured Poncio.
Okay.
So he's definitely got kind of a rapport going with Poncio, and let's see, the actor, the boss in this, the boss that's sitting to stand right next to Poncio, this guy. So Mr. Singh, Dahab Singh, I believe is his name. Dahab Singh, he Josh and Poncio knew each other from an improv. They worked together on an improv team. So that's how they knew each other.
Is this guy part of the Texas group?
This is old footage, so it's entirely possible. But I tell you, remember though, Piper Henson was in the other archival piece with ESPN Idiots, so that implies to me that has no bearing on Dahab on Singh here. But I'm just saying in terms of like a Mark Mahoney collaboration and kind of this era of Poncio, which you can kind of tell that you can kind of tell the eras in Poncio if you look at them, because you have like the longer haired Poncio that we have now in Harley Quinn the Joker. There's upside down Alex Poncio. There's very kind of like eras of Poncio.
Upside down Alex Poncio.
And
that will always be my favorite era of Poncio.
Yeah. So this one, this honestly, this Poncio does look very much like he could have been the San Antonio years Poncio, but based on the fact that this Poncio looks similar to the Poncio in ESPN Idiots, it's entirely possible that was like in the early days of the LA move, of the UCB days, like early UCB days Poncio. Entirely possible. Anyway. Also, Dahab Singh, he's actually on a show. He's on like I don't know if it's like a web series or what. He's on this. Apparently, it's a spin-off of a show called Fosters. Now, not the Fosters that you and I are thinking of, but apparently a different show that I guess was like an ABC show of Fosters, or like an ABC. It's on Freeform, which is an ABC spin-off, essentially a spin-off network of ABC. Point is, you can find it online. It's called Good Trouble if you want to see more of Dahab Singh actually getting a little bit more dialogue outside of his one bad guy line. So
Nice.
All right, so let's just dive right into it then. Okay, so we're in the middle of
hold on, Dragon, hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Promo time.
Of course.
Now, folks, we got it. We got Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the Real World episode 6. You don't need to hear us talk about episode 5 anymore, folks. Those days are done, Dragon. Those days are in the past.
Unless they tell us we need to go through all this again for episode 7. So hopefully.
And if they do, they know we're their little dancing monkeys, and we'll do whatever they want. So
this is gonna sound like a threat because I really want episode 7, so I will I'm gonna have to ratchet up what I usually do by 10 to get 7.
Oh God.
But if it comes down to that, that's what we're gonna be dealing with, folks.
Oh God. But Dragon, this is something you've been really excited about, a short film that was directed by Piper Henson, starring Piper Henson, called Robostitute. That is going to be launching on the channel tomorrow.
Yes, it's finally come. They said it was going to be after Harley Quinn the Joker, episode 6, and that has come. And we, it wasn't the day after, but it was roughly within the same week. So You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, awfully quick. Seriously, folks, Prostitute, you got to check it out, man. This is going to be fun. This is going to be. It's not going to be. It's not going to be the usual sketch you see from JGI. This is them kind of going in the new territory, like a new era of JGI, like the short film. You know, nothing that's going to be necessarily serialized or like a pilot for anything. Just kind of like a little artistic expression from the folks at JGI. And of course, last time Piper Henson directed something, I ended up watching two really good series. So it's. You know, I've seen two. Piper Henson's directed two of the sketches, at least the two sketches that we've covered with, you can't do that with the sketch with Katie Mary Garland, and of course Mad Men, which is not the main reason, but it's like in part the reason I finally checked out Mad Men. Of course, per her recommendation, I also checked out The Americans. So again, Piper Henson's kind of the gateway to good television, it would seem. Regardless, seriously, folks, Piper Henson, I still geek out over the way she directed that Mad Men sketch. Sorry, the Mad Men sketch. As the opening shot, the pan, the whole thing. Like, I'm very excited to see what she did. I know she co-directed it with somebody else, but still, it's just this. She has also a starring role in it. She's the Robostitute itself. It sounds really kind of weird sciencey with can be. I don't know how serious they're going to take it. From the sounds of things, from like a little teaser that we got, it's going to be definitely kind of like more of like a sci-fi horror thing, like a Black Mirror type.
Oh my God! I just now realized we're actually going to see what the hell is up with Joshua Thomas's scream in that trailer.
Yeah.
I want to know what he's reacting to, Dragon. I'm so excited.
It's going to be very exciting. So, folks, don't miss out on it, man. You could there's going to be premiering, so you can actually watch it live with the folks that made it and us, possibly us. I mean, I think
possibly us. I've got an office. Dragon, do you know the time it's launching?
No, it's 18 hours from now, so it's probably. Oh, darn it! I hate math. Very good. It's.
Me too.
Okay. Point being, it'll be tomorrow.
I think I'll be able to join.
Well, regardless, I'll be there, so maybe it's us in the royal sense. The point being, just join us collectively. It'll be a lot of fun. Maybe he'll be there. I don't know. Anyway.
And then importantly, much like episode 6 of Harley and Joker, we're going to give folks a couple days to digest the episode and watch it. And then on Friday, we're going to do the recap podcast. So yeah, that's how that'll go down.
Yes. Okay, back to this.
Okay, so you want to just dive into it, Dragon?
Yes. So we're in the middle of a hostage drop scene, essentially. So we're kind of like probably like the third act of like a whole film that's probably being shot. I love how well directed this opening is. Basically, again, this is what JGI does best here, where we have they're selling us on the world of the sketch before we actually get to the joke, before we get to the gag, before we get to but one of these things is not like the other.
Oh God.
At all.
One of my favorite things is the sound design here with the dripping water.
Yeah, I love the dripping water shots. That's what I'm talking about. I love how they set the mood, the atmosphere. I think we're in a parking garage. I wonder if it's the same parking garage from Harley Quinn and the Joker episode 4.
Perhaps.
So let's see. So yeah, we zero in on the dripping pipe. We have characters kind of emerging from darkness, and we have kind of like a mano, like kind of like a hostage kind of switch, hostage payoff or like a ransom of some variety. We have Michael. We have Michael here, who's basically he's making the drop. He drops his duffel bag full of money.
Not Muppet money, just regular money.
No, JGL has all the Muppet money.
All right, I'm sorry, folks. We're bringing the Muppet money running gag back, apparently. Apparently, that's a thing that's coming back.
Folks, if you have Disney Plus, watch the Muppets on ABC, and at the very least, watch one episode. Watch the Going Gonzo episode. Just watch that one.
Which is the best episode of that show, and it also features a delightful cameo by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, where he beats all the Muppets at poker, and he's like, "Ha Muppets, give me all your Muppet money.
Give me all that Muppet money."
And it's just delightful, and it's probably the most memorable quote in that whole series.
I love the Muppet money so much. Anyway,
all right.
Okay. Anyway, getting back on point. So, point being, I like it. We set the atmosphere, set the tone very well. Like, I'm already hooked. Like, oh man, what's going on here? I have this negotiations going on here. This ransom basically give the bad guys the money for the girl who they kidnapped. Maybe his wife, maybe a friend of his. I don't know. Again, we don't need all the information. Point being, girls being swapped out for the money.
Mhm.
So this is what I'm talking about, the direction. I love how he drops the bag and he kicks it over. This great slide of the bag over there. I know it sounds like a small bit, but I love it.
And then we see Poncio as as just a goon. He's got his arms folded. He's doing a little thing with his eyebrows. He's kind of giving giving Michael here like a little look.
Oh yeah, it's just I just love how the boss seems to kind of be kind of this mirthless, this guy who's in control and mirthless. I mean that's the thing. The Hub saying he really I love what he's communicating even before he speaks. Like this guy's just so mirthless and in control. It's like he's conveying a lot with that dialogue, and
Mhm.
as well as Poncio here. Poncio is basically just he's staring down Michael here, but very noticeably he's staring down Michael. And this is where we're kind of taking the juice out of the big negotiation here. Michael's starting to freak out here, like, "Hey, we had a deal." Says, "Yeah, today's not going to be a good day for you." And of course, he's interrupted by the director, who is actually the director of this, by the way.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. That's a fun little meta casting there.
So the director, what's the director doing here, Tiki?
The director is just kind of basically giving a direction to Poncio, like, "What are you doing with your eyes?" And I love how Poncio is just like, really caught off guard. It's like, me?
Oh boy, so this is what I'm talking about here with Singh here, where Singh's just like everyone's kind of going on break here. Michael's checking his phone, and the boss here is just like looking around, like he's just waiting, like okay, I guess we're waiting now. But yeah, without a word of dialogue, and Poncio is just basically the director's asking what he's doing. He's giving his motivation. I'm protecting the boss. No, with your eyes. What are you doing with your eyes? Just relax. And I love the rule of three of comedy here, where basically the director is getting more and more incensed with each stop of the take of our three takes here, where it's like the first take,
he's being, relatively supportive.
A gentle tact at first. So then so then we repeat the scene. We do kind of an abridged version. We cut out a few segments, like when basically the girlfriend or whoever she is like, please help me. That whole thing. We're cutting out that part. But again, it's really good in the editing here. Josh Fidon is really on fire with the editing. We then have Poncio with the visual of Poncio with sunglasses on. Oh my god,
this is my favorite gag.
Just hysterical, because Poncio with sunglasses on. With that, I lost it when I watched this for the first time way back when it was
Caruso.
Oh god, so oh god, and it's basically the bad guy delivers his line here. The boss delivers his line. You're about to have a bad day, and then we have the Ponzi with the perfect punctuation. After he delivers his line, Ponzi's like glances over the sunglasses, and just he gives like not a full Caruso, but a half.
Yeah, you're right.
Caruso.
It's like a half Caruso. It's like a half Caruso.
Yeah, Caruso gives a line. He removes him. And, ah!
Oh god.
So anyway.
Wow, Dragon. That was a very amusing impression of the Who, my friend.
Anyway.
All right.
All right. Point being, so we repeated the scene. Now looks over the sunglasses just perfectly, and it's like basically you can see in the scene why this is a problem. So it's not why can't we just keep that? It's literally if he does that, all the menace of the scene just goes out the window.
Yeah, totally.
So the director calls him out here, and this is where Poncio gets priceless. This is where you have like Alexander Poncio. Poncio, Luis Poncio. It's the more friendly version of kind of the operatic Poncio.
Uh-huh.
More like Mr. Botchkaloop saying, "Hey, it's Poncio! Hey!
Did I do something wrong?" And I love how as he delivers that line, he's kind of like holding his hands up to his face, like, "Oh dear me."
This is like Norma Bates posing what he's doing.
God.
It is just like if Chick Hogan were to have review, I like what you do.
Hold on. I can actually, I've actually got it pulled up here. Hold on, I can screen share it. Sorry, set it up. Sorry.
Okay, so essentially, what Ponzio's doing here is just he's playing the sheepish actor. He's playing the green extra here, where it's like whether this is the first time or not, he's just playing it so innocent. Like, I'm sorry, did I do something wrong?
All right, and let me switch over the screen share here. Sorry, folks, this isn't going to be a direct, smooth transition, but we'll get it up for you just for some visual illustration here, some visual reference. Hold on, sorry, get into a different window.
So Chick Hogan was this oddball character on Bates Motel, and essentially he would show up from time to time. Really,
all right, that pose right there.
right there. I like what you do with the poses there. Anyway,
Did I do something wrong?
this is it. But like the smile on his face, just playing it so sheepish, and like every
Yeah,
extra
yeah.
in his life has had this moment here where he's playing it. Whether he's just playing it innocent, or he actually just feels like he's just completely in the dark. He's just a hapless, like, I thought I put a little spin on it there. I was like, well, oh no, did I do something wrong? I love just how sheepish he's playing it. It's like what if Ponzi won Miss America right now? That's kind of what he's doing right now.
All right.
And so on the money with the posing and everything, and that just feels like it's Ponce who has seen this happen on set, or maybe this has happened to him personally, where you're called out by the director if you overact as an extra.
That's what I'm saying. It feels a little autobiographical for Ponzio.
So authentic. If you're an actor now, you've probably seen this happen to somebody, and he's doing it so well. All right, then we get to the third take here.
Oh God.
So third take. Oh God. So basically, the interruption's even earlier than it was before. Basically, Michael's about to say, we had a deal, and then Ponzio just comes alive. He says, "Hey, you leave the boss alone.
You leave the boss alone."
So then Mark feels compelled. I love that the director is off screen, but now he's so frustrated. He's so wrought with what is this guy doing? He walks on there from behind, says, "Hey, what are you doing? You don't have any lines." And then Ponce just brings it on home with,
"Oh God,
with me."
We've got he says the me once, and then Dragon, we get the most delicious awkward pause. The director just doesn't even know what to say, and Ponzio is just like, me.
Oh God, just hysterical.
That pause, man, the timing in that pause, there's something magic about it.
And just like standing there with and the look and everything is just great. So now the ending I feel is a little up to interpretations. Then we see it again. Now this is either another take or most likely what I assume it to be. The implications that they tried as they might, with Ponzio there, they didn't have the heart to fire him, and they couldn't cut around it. So they're stuck with essentially they're stuck with take two, as in he kept doing this on and on and on. So this is the final cut of what we get.
Oh God.
It's either the final cut or yet another take. If you go with the rule of three, it's the final cut, as in this is the end product. And we see the take again, but we've dubbed Ponce kind of Pee Wee Herman style, paging Mr. Herman, Pee Wee Herman, that sort of thing, where we have, here's your briefcase, boss.
Here's your briefcase, boss.
So we see that. So that implies to me again they never got it with them, so they just dubbed him.
Oh God.
The fictional Ponce, not the real Ponce. The real Ponce would have done that like no time flat. Anyway.
All right, and then we see not upside down Ponzio, but a very humble Ponzio. Just just like, hey, if you like the sketch, click subscribe. If you didn't, bye. All right, and that is awful extra. And I got to tell you, Dragon, I didn't even like the dubbing over thing didn't even register with me. And now that you bring that up, I think it totally makes all the sense in the world. It doesn't make the Indian abrupt. So
yeah.
So I mean, with that in mind, I just think for a 2.5 minute sketch, 2.5 minutes and some change. I mean, I'm pretty impressed by it. I definitely think that it's got a lot going for it in terms of being just a, kind of a look into the inner workings of Hollywood, which JustGiggleIt has done before to a really fun extent. And Ponzio just kind of getting to showcase what makes him tick, where it's like, even when Ponzio's just tasked to stand around and do nothing, he can't just do nothing, Dragon. He has to perform. The man's got he's got a song in his heart and he has to get it out, my friend.
Fish gotta swim, Ponzio gotta act.
And most importantly, I feel like this sketch is a very, very good example of JustGiggleIt adhering to the rule of threes and kind of knocking the rule of threes out of the park. So yeah, I liked it quite a bit.
It's very clever. It's a very clever inside baseball premise of it's simple. It's simple. It's Ponzio magic at play here. We have just kind of silent Ponzio comedy. We have the physical Ponzio comedy, the posing and everything, as well as just kind of a Ponzio special where he does like what I love when he does a little bit. Like get a minor taste of Alexander Ponzio towards the end there with the whole "Hey, you leave my boss alone," a little bit like it's just Poncio digging deep on there for it's a little taste of it there. But I mean, yeah, it's so on the money like the Inside Baseball because many a time there's always these bits in movies. If you look really close, even the great Christopher Nolan can't avoid this sort of thing where you have an extra who's just not following the protocol, and you're kind of stuck with that in the final product. And that's what the sketch is about. It's very true to life. Where sometimes you're just not going to get, you're going to be stuck with an extra, which is going to lead to these moments like people freeze framing a movie and saying, or a sketch or an episode. It's like, what happened there?
Right.
And now we know. And of course, JGI is going to get in their style just right here, where it's you're living the scene, but then something goes awry, and of course that's where the comedy of the scene comes into play. But again, it's the atmosphere, the whole you're invested, and then Poncio then a wild Poncio appears, and it's delightful, and it's just darn great, it really is. Awful extra, maybe the title, but it's a darn good sketch.
All right, take us out, Dragon.
All right, that does it for now until the next exciting reach into the Just Giggle It grab bag.
Here's your briefcase, boss.
Here's your